by the way. If you haven't watched the first part, please go do that. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of Nyxta's Unreleased Layouts. Thank you for joining me today. We are starting today with Afire. Afire is definitely one of my favorite no copyright sounds tracks. And it occurred to me that it actually is very similar to Creo's Sphere. Same key, same tempo, which is why this wave is very obviously Zodiac inspired. And I think I was going to sprinkle some Zodiac into this level, but I never ended up continuing it. Big surprise. So Andrew level has a bit of a story to it. My friend in elementary school, Andrew, once drew in my notebook on paper a level that was very much impossible, but since at that point I had kinda some knowledge with creating, I was like, okay, I gotta make this a level. I didn't end up doing it right then and there. I waited, and for some reason I came back to it a few years later. So this pre-drop is all my own gameplay, but then here this drop is mostly his gameplay. So he drew this really impossible wave. I took some creative liberties, but mostly it's the same. This part right here, like these ships, these are my own gameplay. But this duel, for example, like he drew this, and there are more duels, and most of what he drew is duels, but I never ended up getting to the rest of them, and I'm not sure where the rest of the manuscript went. Overthinker is in 3 parts because I never had the motivation to really join the parts into one full layout. So the first part is this very beginning of the song, kind of boring. Music is heavily muted to avoid copyright. So that's the first part. The second part is the beginning. It's just before the drop. So here you can see similar kind of style. Gameplay is kind of awkward. I don't have much to say about it. Like, it's okay. Gameplay is kind of weird, but it syncs really well. And here, this part's nice. The drop, actual drop. And then the third part of it, I just called Overthinker Wave. It's kind of like midway through the drop. So it's mostly wave gameplay here. This is very satisfying to play. This is like definitely the best of the 3 parts. Even that really spammy wave is pretty consistent and very fun and very synced. Yay. Climax Layout, is inspired by Spectrum Cyclone. It's kind of obvious, just from song and other stuff. Overall, it's pretty solid, actually. I don't know why I gave up. Maybe because the drop is a little repetitive. I'm really not sure. But the rest of it's not too bad. Like, looking back on it, pretty nice. Like, yeah, you can see it with, like, this spider, for example. Very obviously Spectrum Cyclone. And also the order of the game modes is, I'm pretty sure, the exact same. Overall, pretty cool. Some gameplay like this robot is kind of tight, but not like just timing tight, like just awkward tight, so I would fix that probably. And then the drop is like, you know, synced, but it's really weird because here, I switched from clicking on the offbeat to clicking on the downbeat, so it's just like a weird nitpicky thing. And then that dual wave's a little weird, but that's about all the bad things. It's pretty good otherwise. Pretty difficult too. Rainbow Gun. I really love this song, and I kind of wish I finished this layout. It's pretty good. Very difficult. The gameplay is interesting. Like, I wouldn't say necessarily bad, but it's interesting. This wave I actually like half decorated and made into a challenge, and I sometimes play it. I don't want to say I use it over my warm-up because I don't. It's not really. Yeah, some of the gameplay is kind of weird, but like this robot's pretty cool. Could be a really cool layout if I ever come back to it. Ghost uses Camelia's song Ghost, and it's, I think, my second attempt at a high CPS layout after Staple, if you remember from the previous video. Link is in the top right. Overall, some pretty solid gameplay going on here. Like, it's pretty consistent, much better than Staple. Like, I did this much better. You can see, if you compare this to Staple, that I actually have an idea of what I'm doing here. Here, this wave is really lazy, and at this point I was starting to give up a little bit. Yeah, here, like, this ship is completely empty, except for a few orbs, but might come back to it, because the second part of the drop is pretty cool. So now we have my challenge trilogy. So first is Big Challenge, funny name. Pretty solid challenge, very difficult. Planning to beat it someday. Might need rebalancing, but planning to beat it someday. It's pretty short, pretty sweet. I really like it. Next is Small Challenge, which is unfinished, which kind of sucks. But I really like it, pretty solid, nice and synced. The only problem is now in 2.1, it's a lot more difficult because in 2.2, the hitboxes of these gears change, so it's much tighter. But that's okay. Medium Challenge, this is the best one, like, by far. You can see I actually put effort into it. It's cool, would also need rebalancing if I wanted to beat it, but pretty solid gameplay. I like it a lot. Yeah. Well, I made this on mobile, by the way, mostly. That green orb is much too late, honestly. And then there are also ground spikes here, you can see there. Yeah, kind of funny. If you die there, then lol. Thank you very much for watching part 2 of my unreleased layouts. I know this one's a little shorter, but that's so I can have a part 3 instead of making a 15-minute long video. Here you can see some previews of some levels in the next part, so make sure to stay tuned for that. It should be coming soonish. But I thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, and hopefully you can expect some actually released layouts soon. Won't that be cool? Alright, goodbye.